Honorable sisters and brothers, my friends, today also we are going to take time for the day's Dhamma talk. May everyone give consent 3 times. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhasse. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhasse. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhasse. Yato ko brahmana bhikkhu indriyesu tadvaro hoti tamehan tathagato uttarinvineti eitvam bhikkhu bhojane mattanyo hoti patisankha yoniso aharan ahariyasiti. Dhamma friends, we have taken a particular discourse, namely the Ganaka Moggallana Sutta, finding the Majjhima Nikaya middle sayings, as the main topic for this retreat. And the main teaching in this particular sutta is the gradual training, gradual discipline and gradual upliftment. And that is one of the basic themes in the teaching of the Buddha. Anupubba Sikha, Anupubba Kiriya, Anupubba Patipada. So this topic comes because of this person known as Moggallana. He raised a question. He is an expert in accounting, and that is why his name is known as Ganaka Moggallana. And he says he is skillful in this accounting as well as in the teaching of the Brahmanas. And there is a gradual training. So therefore he is asking the Buddha, Pandevi, I am familiar with this accounting and I am familiar with this teaching of the Brahmanas and many other skills. There is a gradual Anupubba Sikha training and learning and practicing and upliftment. Can you also put your teaching into this kind of a gradual procedure? Then the Buddha says yes, and one can express or present the whole teaching of the Buddha also in a gradual way, and that is how the present day education is being formulated. It is in a linear system. It is relationship one by one and developing in a one-way direction. And being this is very complicated, very intricate matrix system, still Buddha in this particular discourse presented in a gradual basis. And at the beginning, just to summarize up to date, just the beginning, the Buddha says the value of the moral restraint or physical and verbal restraint. So therefore the Buddha says this is the stepping stone or the starting point. One must be ready with Sila Samvara, means we are protecting by in terms of 5 precepts or 8 precepts or 10 precepts, or as I already ordain, Bhikkhu and Bhikkhunis have their own monastic code. So one has to learn them, one has to put into practice and then see the benefits of that observation and of the restraint. Then only you become qualified to go into the further details. When and where someone is restrained in the faculties, so restrained in the physical and verbal deeds, and then he become qualified to go into the subtle details. And the second step for such a qualified person is restraint of the faculties, that is the Indriya Samvara. And for the Sila, that Sila Samvara, it's a kind of a thing one has to do with faith at the beginning, because that very faith not yet verified. So till it come up to the verifiable level, one has to trust upon the virtues of the Buddha or his teaching, or his disciples, or one's own precepts. And after a certain period of time only, one will come to know the benefits, or the verification happen. Till that faith is important. And with that, if someone gets into the stream, and the second part is the what we took yesterday, that is about restraining of faculties, namely one has to restrain one's own eye, ear, nose, tongue, the tactile sensation with the body and the mind. And because if someone is not listening to the teaching in a systematic way and a meticulous way and take a special effort, generally our faculties are not happy with restrainment. It is always in a simple principle that is called pleasure principle. So whenever we give a chance for the faculties to take helm, it just one by simple principle, that is pleasure principle. So therefore at a given time, as we discussed yesterday, at a given time we have visual objects and the eye, we have the sounds, different varieties, and the ear, and we have different smells, and the nose, different tastes, and the tongue, and different comforts and luxuries with the body, and different pet ideas with the mind. So which one is we are going to select in the next thought moment is completely improper. So that is there, that's the place where we are really being challenged with the restrainment or any kind of a control. So daily, day by day, in the morning, we are setting out with a certain amount of a plan in our mind. But when we come back home, hardly we have achieved anything, but because these faculties are taking the upper hand, it is ever in this pleasure principle. So therefore, unless otherwise one is trying with one's own utmost energy and the knowledge, one will not understand the danger or susceptibility or vulnerability of the work of these faculties. So that is why yesterday I took two particular discourses. One thing is Indriya Bhavana Sutta. That means in this particular sutta also indicates not only the Buddha, the other dispensations or other disciplines also, they have given some thoughts about these faculties. They had their fair doubts whether these faculties are really concerned about one's well-being. And it is simply not. They are in their pleasure principle. So unless otherwise someone is suspicious and takes certain amount of control and try to see the mechanism, if you are going to take as it is, unrestrained, definitely at the deathbed, you have to suffer, you have to regret. As far as, and when one becomes old age and sick, ultimately has to end up with this discouragement. So that is why the Indriya Bhavana Sutta, the particular disciple from another discipline came and paid respect to the Buddha, and Buddha simply asked, do your teacher also prescribe this restrainment of faculties? Then he says yes. Then Buddha says, I would like to know the way that your teacher prescribed and how do you put that into practice. My teacher says not to look pictures and restrain the eye by not looking at the pictures, and don't listen to different sounds, restrain the ear with not listening, and exactly the same way not indulge in smells, tastes and luxuries, and not going by pet ideas. This is the way my teacher is prescribing Indriya Bhavana or Indriya Samvara, that means restraining of faculties. Then sarcastically the Buddha make a statement to Venerable is sitting sideline. And he says, if it is so, a person with born blind should be already arahant. If they have deaf, they must be arahant because they are not looking at any pictures, they are not listening to anything. So this is, when the Buddha making that remark, that particular person accepts. It is kind of a rational kind of a training. And taking this opportunity, when Moggallana is asking the Buddha, when they in this dispensation of the Tathagata, how it happens. So then Buddha give it in the 3 layers. First for the beginner, second for the Arya Puggala, and the third for the Arahants. And for the beginners, for the yogis, what the Buddha prescribed is, when and where any visual object or form, shape or color, avenue or focus come into view with your eye, it is untrained mind always try to have liking or disliking or neutral feeling. So when and where you can be sharp to understand and to coming to know that by observing this particular form, my mind develop kind of liking or disliking or neutral feeling. That is the point you have to restrain, not the mere looking or not mere the avenuing or come into contact with. But with the interaction, there is a reaction arises as a kind of a internal response arises, liking and disliking, and that is the very thing you have to catch as early as possible and consider etam santa, etam panita, etam upekha. That is to say, before I look into this picture, before I look into this form, my mind was neutral. But soon after I saw, immediately mind got colored with liking or disliking or neutral. So therefore, the good if I can go back to that neutral position and not to entertain and indulge this newly arisen liking and disliking. So this is a task. It is not easy thing, because what happens is when and where form or color or shape come into contact with, what happens is you try to see details, particulars of that particular thing and keep on entertaining, so that you have no chance, specifically for the untrained mind, to see that you are with desire or you are with hatred to the particular thing you are observing. So, as far as you are unaware of it, as far as you are not mindful about that, either you keep on entertaining that or developing hatred. Then onward, throughout the stream of consciousness is infiltrated with defilement and throughout running with the disadvantages. So therefore, very understanding of the liking and disliking that is immediately arising is the task. That is what someone must be focused at or restrained with. So therefore, if someone can not only when we are seen to understand and know that I am observing or I am a seer and I am continuing because of its attraction, because of its indulgence, otherwise it has to drop. The continuity of observation, the same thing with details and the particulars, is because your indulgence or maybe hatred. Whatever it may be, it is keep on magnetized with the particular object, and throughout the stream of consciousness is defiled and with akusala. So therefore, more you indulge, more you get demerits. So therefore, you have to, when and where possible, be aware of it, and better to go back to the original situation you have the mind was neutral. That is the beginner's training. And day before there was a question also to say how difficult that is, because there are two things you have to understand. One thing is that instead of listening, instead of smelling, instead of tasting, instead of touching, instead of thinking, you select seeing, because that gives more nutriment for your mind. Otherwise, all the other impeachments are available, all the other sense faculties are intact, but the seeing has taken the dominating part, because that is giving more pleasure. That is why it has been selected, and the first thing. Second thing is, if it is to continue, that is giving more and more indulgence, and that means your mindfulness is never employed. And therefore, if you are to be mindful, you have to understand you have been a seer because of this pleasure principle, and you continue the same because of its indulgence. So these are the things you come to know, but hardly you may come to know. Instead, what will happen is, moment you become mindful, the object of observation will be not tasteful, and you can't go into details. It will drop. So this is what happens. So therefore, beginners, they find noting is equal as rejecting the object life, but that is not the case. That maybe the thing happens whenever you are to note that I am seeing, that mind will drop that particular object, and you have a two-way path, either to go back to the original position or observe it with mindfulness. As far as you are observing it with the mindfulness, the taste of the object will be reduced. So therefore, our mind by nature never allow us to be mindful and see. If you are mindful, you can't entertain the object. That is why, that is how the mechanism is happening. So in the attention kind of experimentation, in the neuroscientists, they have found that we are in an ocean of objects in a daily life, and how the mind is going to focus the attention into one particular thing in a given time, and how the different faculties, representative of faculties in the brain, working when one is observing, when one is looking. They found that visual cortex is becoming highly activated. Due to this activation, two things are happening. One thing is suppressing other faculties or other areas. The seeing going to take the upper hand, and therefore it is suppressing hearing, suppressing smelling, touching, tasting, and thinking. And the second thing is, it is enhancing and highlighting what you observe. That enhancement, that highlighting happens according to your likings and disliking. And you proliferate upon that. You fabricate upon that. You make stories upon that. So last time, just before coming here, I went to Burma and had a chance to sit in a retreat with Thero. And in a talk, he gave a kind of a hint. I am not so clear in the point, but it is interesting. He says, when a lot of objects, a lot of impingements are present, one thing come and impinge. For example, a foam will come and impinge in your eye, and meanwhile, sounds are coming and impinging on your eardrum, and then the smell on your nose, taste in the tongue and the body, and selection, which one to give the priority, is happening due to four ways: kammaja, chittaja, uttuja, aharaja. The selection happens due to your karmic forces. That is something inbuilt in you. You select according to the karmic configuration or personality trait. So therefore you have no any control whenever many things are given, that particular thing will be selected. That is, one thing is karmic. Second thing is chittaja. If you are determined, if you have a focused attention, then also you can rejecting others and you can select one attention to the one particular thing. Kammaja, utuja, the other one is according to the season. When hot season is there, your tendency is to select cooler things. When the cool season, your tendency is to go for the warmer thing. And the other one is aharaja, the amount type of food you are taken. According to your food, your chemical body is changing. So therefore, kamma, chitta, uttu, ahara. These four things are going to select one or the other thing and then entertain and indulging throughout that. So therefore, even exactly the same combination given to two particular persons, their selection and priorities and are quite different. Because the combination of kamma, combination and chitta, uttu, ahara, completion difference. So therefore, when we are going to give, we'll say, some valuable thing, or what we think valuable to our disciples or our children, or any one of your relatives or your friends, whether they are entertaining that or not is completely undecided. You can select and you can give, and you expect they must be entertaining because that is something you entertain. But it is not the case. Once you given, their selection is quite impromptu, and therefore outcome may be completely heterogeneous. So this point onward, whatever the facilities you have, they justify by this kammaja, chittaja, utuja, aharaja combination. So unless otherwise you are experimenting with your own faculties, unless otherwise you are experimenting with external objects, you can't predict in the next moment who am I, what will happen to me. May I be a seer or listener, or person tasting, or person smelling, or touching, or thinking. It is such uncertainty in each and every thought moment. So with such uncertainty only, with so much of uncertainty, still we have big plans. Still we have future projections. And if you, as far as you have no restraint towards the faculties, they are bound to lead to disappointment. That is why so much of plans available, but hardly anything work predictably. In order to have this prediction, first and foremost, you have to have fair suspicion on your own faculty, but not in a destructive way, not in a negative way, because this is the way it happens. So that is why the Buddha, when he given that kind of example to Malukya Sutta, he put into that into his thinking, and he present his understanding to the Buddha. Rupan disa sati mutta apiyanimitam manati karoti. Whenever you are observing a visual object without mindfulness, whatever you select is what is pleasing you. Piyanimitam, that is the pleasure principle. Piyanimitam manati karoti. Viratta saratta citto vedeti tancha ajyosa cittati. You develop so much of desire to multiply it or maximize it, and then you get engulfed, inundated in this observation, and you develop so much of feeling, that means fabrications, that means proliferation. Ultimately, you are not really looking at the object as such, but you are looking at what you projected, what you perceived to be. Then onward, you are off the ground. You are no more on the verifiable object. And then onward, this mind is taken in such a momentum, And you think you're observing the object, but that is not what happens. So as far as such a tread going to take, he understands we are far away from the things as they are. We never see things as they are. We see what you wish to see. So therefore, there are books written what you see that you are. By your selection of your objects or what you like to see indicate what is your mindset, what is your personality trait. So that is the what you can check it and see when and where. If you are when and where you are observing something, if you can be aware how the selection is going to take place, what are the things you are indulging, what are the things you are rejecting, and with that kind of a thing, how much liking and disliking and hatred and desire can happen. When such a thing happens, the most dangerous thing is you attribute that your desire or craving to that particular object, or your hatred to that particular object. But the Buddha says, the object has no such coloration. Your mind is the one projecting upon that. Ultimately, you attribute to external object rather than your own wrong calculation, wrong fabrication, wrong proliferation. So therefore, any person can do any harm to you by just giving an object. Your mind knows how to make it harmful to yourself. So unless otherwise you have accounting for that, or observation for that, diligence and vigilance upon that, external world may be exactly the same. Two people may be collecting two kinds of defilements, and they are taking into a dangerous situation. Ultimately, they attribute mistake to the external thing. So therefore, Upanita said, or he going to say, he says, if you are a judge in a court, and if you have to draw a naturally fair decision, you must have a certain amount of this knowledge, otherwise you also find fault with the external objects and the external people rather than the real culprit. So therefore, when and where you are drawing a decision, inference towards yourself or others, your mindset that if it is a restrained one and if it is trained one, you can draw a decision lasting. Otherwise, decisions are not going to last. So, in order to avoid this kind of selective absorption or particular desire or pleasure principle, what the meditation suggests is to have an evenly suspended attention. Yes, now for the moment, the visual object is coming and impinging, so you are not going to get engulfed by this visual object. Instead, you have to be aware. There are some sounds and coming and having on your eardrum. There are some smells. There are some tastes. There are some tactile sensation. And thinking, everything happens. The moment you can develop this choiceless awareness or evenly suspended attention, you will find your decision will be suspended. You will not be rushing to a decision. Moment you rush to a decision, you are answerable, you get committed, and ultimately end up with frustration. End up with mental tension. So therefore, each and every seeing, hearing, smelling, touching, going to end up with abhijja or vihesa. You are developing desire or mental tension. So imagine when and where that kind of a trend is going to continue, how much defilement, how much misconception, how much mental proliferation, how much fabrication is going on. That is what happens in frivolous talks. When we are talking each other, we never take responsibility about what is really happening. You are in a rush to present your viewpoint to your audience or your other partner, and he or she is waiting till you shut up your mouth and he will start other way. their own observation, all are partial. So in order to have a firm decision or fair understanding, one has to develop this choiceless awareness or evenly suspended attention. So if we are to see how this is happening in a sitting meditation or in walking meditation or in day-to-day activities, in order to have a trained attention, we take one particular object in sitting. For example, we take in breath and out breath as an example. So when and where you try to focus your attention, it is a hard task because sounds are there, pains in the body and thinking in the mind and many other things happen. So you have to have such ardent effort and precise aiming again and again like an archery. Keep on shooting, and then only one day you will develop certain amount of familiarity, certain amount of face-to-face with the primary object. So when it is happening, it is natural for the yogi to expect theoretical maximum, that is to have the complete session with this in-breath and out-breath, or keep the object in view with throughout. But it is not the case. Often, again and again, one or the other prominent objects come and they throbbing into your stream of consciousness. And they are, if you are going to hate them, or otherwise if you are going to develop desire only for the primary object, you end up with so much of tension. Your mind will be never at ease. So therefore, after a certain amount of mindfulness with the primary object, when and where the other disturbing objects happens, you have to only go by the prominence. If that particular object is more prominent, you will be aware of it. But soon that disappears, you must be patiently going back to the primary object. And more you go there, you will understand sometimes in the out-breath is closer to you, and at the periphery, a lot of sounds are there, but they are not addressing you. There are a lot of pains are there, but they are bearable. There are a lot of neutral thinking or passive thinking or inner thinkings are there, but they are at the periphery level. So breath is close, breath is prominent, breath is near. Under such circumstances, you can say well and good. But sometimes, amidst of all sounds, maybe some pains or some thoughts, still the in-breath and out-breath is there. It is at the peripheral level, but the sounds are very prominent and under your very nose. Or maybe some pains or some thoughts. But still, at the far away, as an insignificant person, breath may be there. So Buddha says, if you wish to develop the breath, if you wish to develop the acquaintance with the breath, you should have the 11 facets, 11 modes of the breath. Then only you can say, I have mastered the breath. That is to say, when it is close and the other objects are far away, there is one mode. The opposite of this, primary object is far away, disturbing objects, secondary objects are close. This mode is known as far away mode and the close mode. And sometimes the primary object as in breath and out breath is very desirable, and other your mind is not taking interest about the other object. Sometimes mind takes interest about the other objects and primary object become not so significant. So desirable mode and the undesirable mode. And the primary object is gross and prominent, conspicuous, other objects are insignificant. There you can see the gross mode. And sometimes you can see primary objects is insignificant, other secondary objects are gross. So there you have the subtle mode and the gross mode. And sometimes you feel breath is directly at your nostril or in the upper lip. That means something you can verify. And the other objects are far away. They are outside, this is inside. And when you are in the mood, sometimes the breath appears, but it is external, like sounds pains are very internal, so in and out mode. And there is sometimes breath is appearing and your mind is with some other object. So you can see arising in breath or arising out breath. This is the future form. It is going to be the next object of meditation, but for the moment it is developing. Sometimes the breath is disappearing and ceases to exist, but your mind is not taken this as a primary object, and sometimes we really take as a primary object. So this is the future form, present form, and the past form. So in order to see all the 11 facets, as and when your momentum, mindfulness is going to take the momentum, you must learn the art of evenly suspended attention. But if you only wish, only expect the breath to be prominent and in front of you and desirable form and prominent form, that is not the world. This world is such a heterogeneous one. So develop that kind of attitude is training your mind towards the unshakable mind. You take still primary object, the breath as the primary object. Your whole experience is counted upon this particular theme, but you are not fighting with some objects to not to appear, some objects to appear. So this is a kind of way to explain, to develop this kind of evenly suspended attention. When such a thing happens, you find that mind is not decision, it is not running to a decision. It is ready for the next moment, whatever it may be. There is a suspended decision. When it is happening, no chance for tension to arise, no chance for frustration to arise, no chance for the disappointment to happen, because mind is wide open, ready for anything. When and where there is no any object, you take the refuge of your primary object and continue. And next, if you are trying the same thing at the walking meditation at the end, you know where to keep your attention. It is the touch of the ground. But meanwhile, seeing happens, hearing can happen, other sensation of the body can happen. But don't consider them as enemies. Consider their reality. They are happening according to their own cause and effect. So, taking the primary object as the basic theme, let everything happen and ready to accept. So that evenly suspended attention is the way that you broaden your mindfulness. So the Buddha says, when and where one become Ariya Pukkala, maybe the first Madhyana or second jnana or third jnana which happens, so when he is practicing, of course he knows what is to maximize. Sitting, he may be continuing with the in-breath and out-breath. Walking, he may be continuing with the left leg and right leg. When you are eating, he knows where to keep the attention. When you are looking, when you are washing your dishes, when you do any task, you know wherever your intention is working, that is your object of meditation in the day-to-day activity. When it's happening, a lot of other, including objects, are arising. As and it happens, if you are developing hatred, thinking it's like a distraction for your attention, you have to be aware of that hatred arising. Sometimes, as and when your mindfulness is with your primary object happens, the desire and appreciation also can happen. That also be noted. And when and where such a coloration of the mind happens, the liking and disliking, desirability, undesirability, that is the what you have to keep an eye upon. You feel ashamed while I'm training this choiceless awareness, still I develop hatred, or still I develop kind of undesirability to some certain object. So you feel ashamed, and that is the point that once you become an Ariya Pukkala, you feel it's a kind of healthy fear and healthy shame, or moral shame and moral fear. When and where the mind, mental coloration is going towards the desire or hatred, so you feel ashamed, you try to get rid of that, and you disclaim it. And try to keep as much as possible with the neutral sphere, we can say in the comfort zone. That comfort zone necessarily not the primary object. Primary object is your most familiar place. That is the known area. But even if the mind is going to take seeing, hearing, smelling, touching, whatever it may be, if we can maintain in the middle, not to go and letting let it goes to the extremes, so that it will be entangled with hatred or desire. Keep in the middle, so you feel ashamed when and where your mind becomes very full of desire, full of greediness, full of hatred. That is what you are going to see. So that when and where possible, you bring the stream of consciousness to the comfort zone, in the desirable area. So this is how the Arya is trained. But when he becomes an Arahant, it's a complete mastery he is having. For example, if he is going to see a dead carcass of a serpent or any other bad thing, soon he sees his mind controlling so much about his faculties, he can take it as a good omen. So you can use it as an object of repulsivity. So he knows how to make use of it. Or if you wish to make it, if you wish to look at it and keep the stream of consciousness neutral, still he can see. Or he can see it as a good thing or bad thing. So therefore, his stream of consciousness is not under the remote controller, not with the object what he is seeing. Upon that object, if he wish, he can develop the desirability or undesirability or neutral. Even if it's a beautiful thing, attractive thing, he knows not let the object take you for a ride. Instead, he sees the danger of this desirable thing. If he wish to see, he can see. If he wish to see desirability or desirability, still he can see. Or if he can see it as a neutral thing. So this is the way Indriya Bhavana in this dispensation is being used in the mastery way. So that is something very difficult and unimaginable. But we have to go, as the Ganaka Moggallana Sutta is teaching, in the gradual basis. So before you go into this, or before you take this task, first and foremost, the thing you have to understand is, if your faculties are unrestrained, they are like your enemies. They are always ready to bring your stream of consciousness to one or the other extremes. So therefore, you are the only person who can do something. And to do something, you have to be prepared. You have to be learned. You have to be with energy to do it. More and more you to do it. What happens is, your motivation to look, to hear, to smell, to taste, to touch, and other kind of thing, then and there will be justified. If not, if the objects are going to color your mind or your mood, ultimately what happens is, you don't have time for meditation, you don't have zest and energy for meditation, and you are at the disadvantageous side. The same trend is now Buddha is explaining. Once you develop this kind of restrainment of the faculties, named the ear, eye, ear, nose, tongue, and the body, and then Buddha says, when and where you are going to take food, you have to develop kind of a restrainment. You have to be moderate in eating. So it is also yet another way of accumulating of demerits and unskillfulness. So therefore, having basic precepts and having basic your moral conditions and then restraining of faculties, then only you can think about the basic needs. When we are using, we do not know what is the comfortable level, what is the comfort zone. Always we are either fall short of or go exceed. So that is why present day, if you go and ask the Thero, Food and Agriculture Organization, they know the world presently producing enough food for the human beings. But majority of the people living in the so-called third world countries, they go to the bed with the hungry stomach. And so much of plans, so much of formulas, projects are there, but situation never changes. Because the well-to-do people use more than 40% of food for beverages and alcohol. And they are eating and drinking at their luxuries. Therefore, the other people, nothing to eat. The distribution of the properties are completely awkward. Because that people, those who are full with parties and drinking and everything, they have no sense about that poor beings. They are also living in the same earth. We have enough food, but some people are using double and still they are making problems. Obesity and diabetes and cholesterol and all the kind of things. Other people are in the other extreme, nothing to eat. So in order to reduce this maldistribution of the money or food, each and everyone has to have a certain amount of moderation of the food. And it is not only giving this to the situation at large, but even for your health. If you are going to eat without any break or without any clutch or without any control, you can understand what is happening in the present generation. So much of food, so much of problem. So there's a book in Sri Lanka, Committing Suicide by Your Tongue, written by Professor Lily De Silva, because no one knows they have to stop. Some people stop because no food. Some people stop, they have fainted with food. So this is the situation. So if you are a yogi, if you are concerned about your physical and mental well-being, and if you are concerned about healthy state of consciousness, the Buddha says the moderation of eating. So that is why in the retreat he introduced that 6 precepts, not to take meal after 12. So many can't understand why. They ask him that after a meal you can have a nice sitting and get a good mindfulness, maybe. But the thing is, this is the way the moderation happens, and that itself is not something introduced by the Buddha. Even the day the Prince Siddhartha conceived, mother was observing this precept. They were not taking meal after, and they are under the posture. So it was in the Indian situation. And so whenever you are going to take this meditative life, you must have your moderation of food, and that is to expand a little about your clothing, about your food, about your lodgings, and about your medicine. These 4, if it is not moderated, you are creating problems to others, you are creating problems to your health, mental and physical health also. So therefore there is a very nice, very energizing kind of a discourse in the Anguttara Nikaya number 4. This is known as Ariyavansa Sutta, and the Buddha says those who are really interested in meditation, they have to take moderation in their clothing, their foods, in their living dwelling places, and then only they can have enough time for meditation. Unless, otherwise, you will be so engrossed and engaged in this clothing and feeding and your dwellings, your life is not enough to fulfill it. So there Buddha says, Santutto Ditara Pindapati. Now we are here when we are practicing in the retreat situation. Devoted people bring and give some food. It is not a goal, it is not coming from my own kitchen. It is not according to my own recipe. So therefore you have to be happy with whatever you are going to have. So this is what does it mean by the moderation in the food. Santutto Itara Pindapati. Itara Pindapata Santuttiyaca Vannavadi. Not only that you are thriving upon that, you are praising it. This is the best way of living. Someone is deciding the best for us, and we are happy to have that particular Pindapata. Itara Pindapata Santuttiyaca Vannavadi we think, and not only that, we are appreciating and praising. Not just in the party for the food, you are not going to earn it in an unfair way, in a disturbing way. That is killing animals and all the kind of things. So you try your best not to disturb others in order to earn your food or whatever begging bowl what is going to give. So that indicates your livelihood. Otherwise what will happen is, in order to satisfy your tongue, you may be despiting others' life. So therefore, as a bhikkhu or bhikkhuni or any ordained person, they have to be contented with what is given. And as yogis also, we at least during this period of time, try to be contented with. Otherwise, if you are going to take time for preparation of your individual taste, we won't get this much of time for sitting meditation. We won't get this much of time for walking meditation. So by sacrificing that, or by moderating on the food, we are earning some space, some time, and we can be mindful in that state. So therefore, as far as mendicants are concerned, you have to always compromise with food. Aladda Pindapata Paritasati. If the plate you get is, if it is not up to your satisfaction, you must not regret upon thinking that if I am at home, I would have prepared a nice plate, but today it is not so good like that is not done. And if you are accidentally if you are going to get a good plate, and there also you must be overindulging it. Alabdaja Jivarana Paritasati Labdaja Jivaran Agatito Amuchito Anachapanno Adinama Dasavi Nissarana Panno Parimunti. You know why you are using it, in order to maintain your body and not to beautify and not to entertain, not to suffer hunger. So you have to always consider the utility value. So moderation and understanding the utility value are the thing we can say, see things as they are. So that is why the monastic life means. So I think many are not becoming monks because they are going to lose the dinner. Otherwise it is so simple. Whether you are a male or you are a monk, exactly the same. Whether you are a nun or a female, exactly the same. Only thing you are losing is the dinner. It is such a big issue. So that whenever you are going to have a concentration in moderation, you can see if you are really interested in, you have to sacrifice something and you are going to earn solitude, you are going to earn freedom, you are going to earn health. If you know how to moderation. And that introducing this way, the Buddha, he says, even if you are successful in understanding the moderation of the food, you must never look down on others, thinking they do not know what is the moderation of food, they are overindulging or they are self-torturing, and that is also maybe a reason for your stream of consciousness to develop some pride, proud. It's also given another define. So there also you have to be mindful, due to good listening, due to good training, due to understanding of the advantages and the disadvantages. Slowly I managed to come up to a better position. But upon being there, I must not look down others, and I must not putting yourself up, lowering others down. That is also defilement. So this is the way, in the commentary it says, after the Gautama, the Buddha, after becoming enlightened, he looked back another 5,27,000 Buddhas, and he found each and every Buddha used to preach the same thing. Not only sitting and meditation and developing vipassana jnana, but in the day-to-day activities like in feeding, like selecting your clothing, like selecting your dwelling, each and everything you have to be moderate. Otherwise, your meditation will not go broadly. It will be deep down, or widening never happens. So therefore, more and more when you are going on practicing, each and every time you have to consider about the depth and the breadth of the mindfulness. So many technical people and thinking in the result-oriented way, they are concerned and think only the depth of the mindfulness, how deep it is, how sharp it is. But as far as the breadth is concerned, you have to apply each and every behavioral pattern with this mindfulness, otherwise they are not harmonizing each other. So therefore, if you are living in a society, exemplified way, then you have a role model that you have the encouragement to do it. But if you do not have that kind of a good role model, it's very difficult for individual person to set these examples, set these norms. So that is why meditators get together and they have their own associations and try to set examples and live together. That is why the Buddha says, if the meditators are appreciating their own mutual understanding and the peace, individuals' meditation is increasing. Samagana taposuko. In order to have this samagga, that means the mutual understanding, our attitude to the food, attitude to the clothing, and the dwelling, everything must be taken care. So more and more you have to practice in mindfulness, or so to say sitting meditation, and develop the mindfulness. You must know how to put that into the other day-to-day affairs and your relationship with the society, relationship with the food, that kind of thing. So then only it is going to get a good foundation. So when we are going to have a residential retreat, a long one, we have enough chances to talk about them and think about them. But if it is for a short retreat or one-day retreat, hardly we have, because we are again going back home, and then again our mind going to get scattered off, and again very difficult to bring it back to the proper momentum. So therefore in the Ganaka Moggallana Sutta, the Buddha is not only encouraging the wisdom, but he is encouraging the compassion too. So considering about this moderation of the food, in a way you are compassionate towards yourself. And the society at large also benefits are there. So therefore, when someone is advancing, it is very hard, very difficult someone to complain telling he or she is selfish, because this is applying to all the sections, all the aspects of the life. So therefore, if someone is concerned about the results and advancement, each and every time they have to reconsider, appraisal of the basic needs or day-to-day needs as well as the allocation of time. So at the end of this Aryavansa Sutta, the Buddha gave a very sensitive relationship. If you are callous, if you are not concerned about this moderation of the food and the moderation of the clothing and the moderation of the dwellings, your mind will be so blunt, your mind will be so bewildered, you can understand the difference between the good and the better. Given the chance to select the better, your mind will be satisfied with the good without going to the better. Nothing because other than food, lodgings and clothing. They are pulling you back. You keep it just good. Never go for better. So therefore, you are the very person, or your stream of consciousness is the very blockade for you to take a higher standard or the better status. So each and every time when you are comparing the good and the better, as far as you are more concerned about the food, more concerned about your clothing and more concerned about your dwelling, you will be happy with the good, never go for the better. So therefore your Anubhuva Sukha, Anubhuva Kriya, Anubhuva Patipada, principally you are disturbing. So if when and where you are practicing, when and where you are introducing good qualities, you are going to get a lot of better chances. Each and every time, without missing, you must try to keep the track with. Not to compromise for the good, but to go for the better. And in order to have that, the relationship between your clothing and foods and the dwellings are very important. So it's a nice relationship. So therefore the Buddha says, if you are moderating food and lodgings and the clothing, wherever you move, even if you go to the northern pole or southern pole or the east direction or the west direction, wherever you go you get very good thriving, whatever may be climate, whatever may be the geological place, you will be well established. But if you are not moderating this kind of thing, each and every place you find uncomfortable, irritating. You don't feel like homely. So if you wish to have that homely feeling, each and every time when you are selecting, you have to go in moderation, and in return, when you go and sit, you start with the very good beginning for the mindfulness to happen. So this is how the society and the environment at large affect in your microclimate in the mind. So these things, no person can come and give you the combination. You have to listen, you have to use your already existing experience and apply as much as possible, and more you to apply. You are the very person immediately to understand the consequences or benefits immediately. This is how Dhamma becomes lively. That is the way the advancement going to happen. Don't try to reduce only to the sitting meditation and walking meditation. This is the way we facilitate our advancement. So that is the basic theme of this particular sutta. So today we try to understand the relationship between these restricting of faculties as well as your attitudes toward the food. Hope this will help refine your path and you may see things as they are as you wish. With that idea, I am going to sum up today's talk. Thank you very much for listening.